Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has hidden unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure, or admire an old one. What will we find today? Let's dig in. Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
I was meditating on faith the other day and got to thinking about the little phrase, "the just shall live by faith." Unlike the pastor of our church, I'm not too good at remembering the exact address of verses. It's like my friends. I could drive directly to their house, but I couldn't tell you their exact address. She lives in that neighborhood across from the car museum, or you turn next to the pizza place and it's behind there. Sometimes I can recognize that a verse is from one of Paul's letters, or that they're from somewhere in the Old Testament prophets. This verse, I found when I looked it up, is both. It's originally written in Habakkuk, but quoted 3 times in the New Testament. Now that got my attention. It must be something important to remember if it's 3 times quoted in the New Testament. So let's look at it. The just, or righteous in some versions, will live by faith. In Habakkuk 2:4, the righteous man with faith is in contrast to the proud man. In Hebrews 10:38, he's brave and consistent, one that doesn't turn away when the going gets rough. In other parts of the Bible, a righteous man is not a perfect man. That would rule out everyone but Jesus, wouldn't it? Ecclesiastes 7:20 says, "Indeed, there is not a righteous man on earth who continually does good and never sins." Other places describe a righteous man as fair, honest, compassionate, wise. But this verse says that he lives by faith, and that's the most descriptive. Many in Jesus' day were trying to live by the law. Now Galatians 3:11 says, "It is evident that no one is justified by the law before God, for the righteous shall live by faith." So those trying to be justified by the law were practicing legalism, a religion of works. Jesus came along and said, no, that's not what it's all about. It's about faith in who God is and what He's done. That's the only way to be righteous, to be right with God and have a relationship with Him. In Hebrews 11, we find a list of righteous people who lived out this verse, "The righteous shall live by faith." They weren't perfect by any means, but they believed God's promises, and they acted on them, based their lives on the foundation of God's promises. That's how we see who God is. As we have faith and act on what we believe and know is true from God's Word, God reveals Himself to us more and more. For example, we might know with our heads that obedience to God leads to God giving us peace. But we can only fully experience that peace when we make the decision to take a step of obedience. That's when God opens the windows of heaven and sends His peace flooding into our soul. Then we can feel His presence with us as we take a step of faith into the unknown. Romans 1:17 says, "For in it, the gospel, the righteousness of God is revealed from faith to faith." Each moment of faith reveals something more about the righteousness of God. The more we know God and act on what we know, the closer we get to Him, the better we get to know Him, the more we can trust Him. That's an infinite statement. We walk by faith and not by sight. We don't know what's waiting for us around the bend, nor can we control it. But as we make faith a part of our everyday lives, we don't have to grope blindly or timidly along in the darkness. We can walk confidently in the light that God gives us, in faith that whatever we come up against, God can handle. Are you living by faith? Only by faith do we receive the gospel, and only by faith can we live it out. How have you seen the righteousness of God as you have lived by faith?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. Also, if you'd like to share a treasure God has given you by doing an episode, please contact us. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you'll find in the description below. Thanks for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.